Welcome back, Sundrops, to the fourth episode in our installment of Cultist Simulator. Where we left off in the last video, we were just about to start our cult. Choose the founding principles. Tradition and compulsion, old, new, or both together. I can speak, I swear. I did call you Sundrops, right? I don't remember. But anyway, thank you for returning to this game. Founding principles. Our doctrine is going to be Forge. We are going to establish the Unflinching Order, an occult society dedicated to the fire that changes and remakes. This would be actually a good time to get into the aspect of Forge. Like it says here, it's the fire that changes. So Forge is the principle of. We got the Victory of Crowns. That's a good book. I'm happy with that. Primarily, Forge is the principle of change. In some fashion, it's destruction. In some fashion, it's creation. But it is primarily change and fire. And I don't know if I have mentioned thus far, but every principle can be turned into the next principle. That is why we'll have this organized just so. When I actually remember precisely the order in which to do it. But for now, we've read Traveling at Night. Elopoli describes how he came to make repeated visits to a dream, wood, via what he calls silver dreams. Trying to think your way to the wood, he explains, is like thinking your way to being in love. But I did find a secret that helps. So we get an erudition, which, would normally be helpful, and a barber's warning. Level 2 aspect, aspect of moth. You can, have your doctrine be any aspect of lore. From secret histories, to heart, to moth, to the other ones that have yet to be revealed. But for the victory, the standard victory that I am aiming to achieve in this, it would be easiest to achieve that through Forge. So we will have an unflinching order. But we're going to read The Victory of Crowns by Erun, or however you pronounce that. The assassins are, according to Erun, the agents of a power called the Colonel, a soldier of the secret masters. The accounts go all the way back to the Roman times. This is a very, just a taste of another, and this, let me finish my thought. This is just a taste of, the next principle that we will achieve. Each book is colored according to what principle it primarily focuses on. But work overtime at Mr. Alden's insistence. I do not believe that you have properly understood the importance of our work here. This task will require your full attention. Add reason to satisfy Mr. Alden. This is why I wanted to improve our reason in order to begin this, because you need reason and it will be fatigued. The work is complete when I have assessed that the work is complete, and not before. I trust we understand each other. This is why, Unflinching Order. I got an achievement. As you can tell, I have not ever had this particular, cult, on this system. I have done it on other systems, so this is not new to me, but it's just that through Steam, I've yet to actually attain the Unflinching Order. Sacrifice of pain. The hour we serve requires pain. I must give of myself, so that requires my health. That's fine. We'll be fine. It won't hurt too bad. But yeah, a lot of people may choose not to, go with the reason it is just the best way to make money, and so that is why I go through this. But I do highly recommend you get a lot of reason before you do this. And there are other starts to the game which would give you even more reason, but I decided to start fresh and clean and use the aspirant. Because why not? Work overtime at Mr. Alden's insistence. On this occasion, I have determined that your work is of an acceptable standard. You may go. Be punctual tomorrow, please. There may be ways to deal with Mr. Alden. That is just it telling you, hey, this is an annoyance, and you can avoid that. So yes, and we're just going to go right back into work. Our reason is dimmed, and that has the same timer as that. However, our first recruit. My cult, a cult with one member is only an unusual habit. I must have a recruit. I could choose either Leo or Saliba. I'm going to choose Leo because, he was the one that got us the talk verb and this, beginning. I'm going to... Oh. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We're fine. I didn't check to see what that was. Oh. Okay, that's fine. Iruin's scholarship is dubious, but she, writes pithily. I've actually never heard that word before. Incidents of sudden and violent death are interspersed with aphorisms, also I've never heard that before. Hours don't dream. Long try not to. That is just saying, there is a hierarchy with the gods of... I don't remember exactly where this goes. That's one of the later ones. The hierarchy of the gods. So there's the hours, which are the gods, and there are different types of hours, but we won't get into that right now. There are lore videos, should you be so inclined. And then, right under the hours are the long, I think. And the long each work for one of the hours. And they're all generally in some sort of fight with each other, but also not quite. It's a balance, you know. The age-old adage, in order for there to be light, there must also be dark, or some such. I'm going to actually study my health, because I have illness, and I have injury, and I just don't want to worry about all of that. But it's fine. I could, this has less of a timer. The To work with your health skill requires less time than the decay timer of the job, so I could use that to get further on this, but I will actually just use my funds for this injury and then the vitality that I get from this for this illness. Our rise begins. I have founded my cult. This is a step to greater power. Use your cult to recruit and promote followers. Talk with followers about your cult to send them on cult business. So we have Leo, a believer. I was correct. He is heart. We have an injury, which is knock, and we'll get into that later. And we have an unflinching order. I'm going to move this. I'm going to move that there. No. We also have temporary headquarters. We're going to actually move this right here. Because primarily we will be using them with the talk verb, as primarily we will be using this. In fact, you can only use this in Dream, these for Explore, so on and so forth. So if we I believe Forge goes directly to Edge, actually. If we were to talk with our thing, we can take an associate, say, Saliba here. We can use a ceremony, which would be lore, and we can recruit him. However, I'm not going to do that, because next is the Season of Ambitions, and if you recall, the restlessness obtained from the Season of Ambitions has 2 Forge lore. The lore used has to match that of your cult. So if you started your cult with the secret histories, you'd have to use secret histories lore every time you recruited a follower. There are 4 levels technically to every follower. There's the acquaintance, there's the believer, there's the disciple, and then there's the exalted. Every cult has their own version of exalted. As it says here, the one for Forge would be Reshapers. I don't remember all of their names off the top of my head, but I know Saliba would be what's called a Cyprine, and the one for Edge would be an Assassin, because Edge is conflict and betrayal. Not enough funds, but I will get more funds here, so yes, let us in fact add to our library again, so we're not wasting time. I could recruit Saliba right now, but I'm not going to, because as I said, I want to wait for the restlessness we get from this. Where did oh, it's right here. Okay. I forgot to start this. That's fine. So we're gonna heal. You can either, I believe I've already said, you can either use money or you can use vitality. That is why I'm currently doing fresh air and exercise. And we have our illness, an affliction. 175 seconds isn't awful. Oh yes, we got, ow! Haha, that's funny! A Locksmith's Dream, A Light Through the Keyhole, the first volume of Teresa Galmier's Examination of Parallels in something or other. That's funny because Teresa, if you recall our last book, it was written by one Christopher Illopoli. Teresa here is the lover of Christopher Elopoli. So there's a bit of connection there. Yeah, vitality. I can. Let me study the locksmith stream. Why do I have 5? One's here. I just used one here. I had 8. I just used one. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, locksmith stream. The parallels in mystic dreams experienced by carpenters, masons, and other artisans, and what they purport to reveal about the architecture of the world. Sometimes modern, sometimes funny. No one has ever explained well Galmier, I don't know how that's pronounced. I'm assuming it's French. I don't know French. I know a bit of German. I don't know French. Well, Galmier devoted herself to the quixotic explorations, quixotic exploration of artisans' dreams. Oh yeah. I'm not great with words. That's fine. Like I said, this could be done faster than this will decay, so I could do that, but I just got vitality from this, so I'm going to just go back to work at Glover and Glover. And when this is recovered, I will use that affliction in, that. Anyway, this is a very easy way to get rid of restlessness, just recruiting followers. But also, we need to find more followers. And I have shown you one way, by dreaming and getting a peculiar rumor. But there is another way, and after Saliba is recruited, I will obtain that. Next up is notoriety. That's fine. We'll manage. Even with 1 notoriety, they can't. Actually, let me use my health to search the city. Alright, I could also use a follower, but I'm not going to yet. Saliba is Grail. We don't have any Grail lore. That's fine. What was I saying? You can also use a follower to explore. We got an overlooked place. That's precisely what I wanted. Anyway, we can talk on our lore and speak of esoteric matters. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. This is the other way to find followers. We got Grail, the place behind desire. That's... I don't remember what that gives. Oh, they took our notoriety. As I was saying, it's fine. You don't have to, they can't imprison you from 1 notoriety. So we're fine, so long as we don't do anything bad in the future. Anyway, locksmith stream. Time and again we hear of the wood, which rises from the world's foundation. All trees reach for light. What does the wood reach for? Is there a difference between light and light? I think the key to dreams of the wood might be one of these. The one that isn't exactly real. And we have a watchman's... why did I pronounce it like that? A watchman's secret. That is lantern, which goes directly from Moth. And then we have the Ecdysis Club from our, searching. This is a cabaret with an occult reputation. Precisely what I wanted. These are the 3 locations. I will have to dream with the wood soon. I'm not studying anything. I don't have the funds for a book. I need more funds. I really need to get more money. And we have to put a reason in there. What does this give again? I don't recall. Yeah, I could theoretically buy another book. I don't want to right now. The Igdisis Club, oh, I didn't know it had a moth, grail, and heart. I said that in the wrong order, but it's fine. Oh, glimmering! Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's not dangerous at all. Yes. So the use for Marlin's shop is to get books. The use for Oriflame's auction house is to obtain more books, or let me let this go while I talk. More books, or to sell items. It is an auction house after all, and people like curious items, like that of the occult. We've healed. It'd be a waste to dream on that, so we're going to actually dream on the wood. Return to the wood with our passion. You can sell, but the use for okay, an acquaintance with passion. Perfect. That is exactly what I wanted. What was I saying? The Igdisis Club. You can explore there, give money, and it will give you. Oh, okay. Let me finish my thought, and then I'll talk about this. You can give them money, and one of like several different things can happen. You can get contentment. You can get You remember the moth feeling? I don't remember the exact term of the card right now, but we had a temporary moth card that was over here that decayed into restlessness. You can get those, I think, of Moth, Heart, and Grail at the Igdisis Club. Or you can get a notoriety. It's just random chance what will happen, but it is a good way to deal with dread should you need it. However, it is risky because you could instead obtain fascination, which is another way of losing how we get a dread trap. So I really need this to be used in this. Anyway, so you saw the weary detective took the notoriety, but spit back out notoriety. So when a hunter takes a reputation, they have a chance of turning it into evidence, or failing to actually determine it as a crime. The weary detective, basic, he can't perfect an occult script. You can get secret history from these dreams. What was I saying? So the weary detective, he's just mortal and he's a hunter. Those are his only abilities. So he has a chance to fail to turn notoriety into evidence, get evidence level too high, and you can be taken to prison, you or your followers. But he failed, so this is probably going to decay before it gets more evidence. Yeah, because up next is the Dread Forget. I walked I walked in the wood last night, and the scissors worked in the distance, and the furred things crammed my mouth and swarmed my ears, and I felt the old urge to drop to wolf wars and nose among the roots. But I remembered that I walk upright by day, and I know fire and steel and words, and at last I found where the velvet had concealed a secret on tree bark beneath moss. I read it then with the tips of my fingers, and think now that I could write it in full. So we got an occult scrap. That is one of the best things to get from early game, at least from the ways. So we can study this with another occult scrap and improve it, but it will require an erudition or a library, an HQ with a library, or we can explore with it and find secret places of the city. There are places in the city where I can find extraordinary things if I can sift through the clues out of history and rumor. If I can sift the clues out of history and rumor, that's what I want to do. Not that we will be utilizing that anytime soon, but that is a very, very important thing to do with secret histories. Only secret histories can do this. You can't explore with any other lore card. Up next is Dread Trap, and I got Acquaintance Slee. Slee is Lantern. I think so. Okay, I might not have them memorized, but I have a very real guess as to what it is. So, Slee, I'm going to take into our fold. And we have we will use up the restlessness from that. Up next, like I said, fascination traps. So this notoriety will be gone. We won't have the dread because we used up the restlessness. Yes, I was correct. Slee is a lantern follower. Perfect. Funds could be better. So I'm going to hold off on, not that I can, because I'm currently searching for secret places in the city. Not going to let this be idle. I'm going to speak of esoteric matters again. We have to put Raven in here. Back to the Mantis. What was I saying? Oh yes, this is the thing I was talking about. The buzzing in the brain. That is... I still don't remember what it's called. But that, since it's moth, will turn into restlessness, and I don't want restlessness. Ah! Instead we have an awareness of appetite. It is a influence, that's the term. The well in the wood is never dry, but it is never clear. One night it might heave with crawling roots, on another it will pulse with bright moss. On nights of the full moon its waters are choked with the fat, dappled bodies of moths. Last night I saw it brimming with dark, viscous blood. Gelatinous shreds drifted on its surface, clots of grail matter. That I will just say here for right now, since it's the closest thing we have to grail lore. We also have a forgotten Mithrium. This is what is called a vault, and I'm sorry if you can hear someone in the background. But it's fine. Let me organize. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Cultist Simulator. We actually have founded our cult, but thank you all and have a sunshiny day.